A tale of two computers. A big one and a little one. The big one, of course, is your personal computer. The little one is the programmable logic controller. So we'll start talking about the personal computer first. After all, if you don't have a personal computer, there is nothing that you can do with a PLC other than look at the LEDs on the front. But to actually work with a program and troubleshoot, you need a personal computer. So in the personal computer, you would open up RSLogix500. Once you have RSLogix500 open, then you have to open a project or create a new project. This would be analogous to Microsoft Word for Windows. You can open up the word processor, but you still have to open up an existing document or create a new document in order to do anything in Microsoft Word for Windows. So we've opened up RSLogix500. The next thing that we want to do is to create a new project. When we create a new project, the files that are pre-configured are data table files and one program file. Using the data table files as variables to address the instructions to, you write a ladder logic program with descriptions. Keep in mind that the program, the ladder logic, is a list of instructions that address the data or the variables in the data table files. So you have to have data table files first in order to write instructions that address the data table files. With a program written, you are ready to download the program from the big computer to the little computer, from the personal computer to the PLC. The first thing you need is an appropriate cable to connect between a COM port on your personal computer and a COM port on the programmable logic controller. In the process of downloading, we download two sections. We download the program files, in this case program file, but it could be program files, and we download the data table files. The programming software converts the ladder logic to machine language and downloads the machine program into the PLC's random access memory, or RAM, followed by the data table files. Notice the difference between the program in your personal computer's memory and the program in the PLC's memory. They are not in the same language, and you cannot see the program in the PLC. There is no means to view the program logic that is actually in the PLC's memory. Even the data table files are unrecognizable. For the sake of our story, we leave the downloaded data table files with the same appearance as the original data table files in your personal computer. As you have learned in the lecture series that preceded this manual, B3, T4, C5, R6, and 7, these data table files, the things that some people call addresses, they are actually tag names or variables and not actual memory addresses. More properly said, they are variables and not actual memory locations. What is actually downloaded to the PLC are real memory locations that the variables, such as B3, T4, that they actually point to. Sometimes they call variables pointers. When you begin writing your program, your programming software is going to be in the offline mode, and you are going to view the ladder logic program, that is the highlighted state of each instruction. That highlighted state is determined by the memory location, the value in that memory location that each instruction addresses. In this example, binary file 13 : word 0 bit 14, or B13 0/14. That tag name or variable is examined by a true if off instruction at that memory location in the copy of the data table files located in RAM in your personal computer, which is in the offline state. When it reads that address, it sees that address is off, and because it's a true if off instruction, then the instruction is true. Therefore, it is highlighted or true. That information, though, comes from the data table files that are on your personal computer. When your programming software is in the online mode, there is really only one major difference between being online and being offline, and that is which data table are you viewing. There is only one LadderLogic program to view whether you are offline or online, and that is the offline LadderLogic file, which is stored in the offline project. When you're online and viewing the true-false states of instructions or the on-off states of outputs, they are highlighted by the values in the PLC's data table and not the one in your personal computer. So at this point, I think you realize that if you're online with a PLC, you've downloaded to the PLC, that there are now, shall we say, two programs and two data table files. Before you run the program, they're going to be identical. Once you put the PLC in the run mode as shown, the instructions execute reading from the data table files in the PLC and writing back to the data table files in the PLC. At that point, the data table files in the PLC will not be storing the same values that are in the data table files that are back in random access memory in the personal computer. So always keep in mind, if you're online, your offline program file, the instructions in that program file are being highlighted based on the true or false on or off state of the data table files in the PLC, not the data table files on your laptop or your personal computer. If you switch to the offline mode, you still see the program file. The difference is the instructions will be highlighted from the data table files in your personal computer and not online with the data table files in the PLC. Very important concept to remember.